Fred, it's funny you brought up T. Higgins. And if it wasn't for the disaster era of the Butch Jones tenure, you could have had
Oh,
Trevor Lawrence, T. Higgins, Amari Rogers all in Knoxville. What?
Von Bell,
Oh yeah.
Ramsey.
What? But just I'm trying to think about this because Trevor Lawrence won a national championship at Clemson, throwing to T. Higgins in 2018. What would that have looked like in Josh Heupel's offense? Trevor Lawrence throwing to T. Higgins.
Records on top of records on top of records. That's what I see. I like what we have now on offense. I like that somebody just said loud in the text box over there. I will not call him Butch. I'll call him Loud. His mama named him Loud. I'm gonna call him Loud. I think he did a horrible job of keeping our in-state guys in state. Um, but I would have loved to have saw that. However, I look at what we have coming up. Um, I like I like Joe. I like Joe Milton and what he has to offer with this offense, but I also like Nico, and I've seen his arm strength and talent, and I'm impressed by what I see. I'd like to see him put on about 25, 30 pounds, but I'm excited to see what we have coming in this offense. I, I like to say what ifs, if we had saw those things at Tennessee, I think we have a chance to be just as good, if not better, than what their era was, based on our offense, based on the trajectory that we're going on. Now it's just time to get in the linemen, the defensive linemen. That's the one thing we've been hurting on for years. And I think that kind of started during the Derek Dooley era when they didn't sign any linemen in the whole season, and that I think we've been behind ever since then. But now I think getting those right pieces in on the defensive side will help us on that side of it. But the offense, I have all respect and still excited about what Josh can do. I watched them make so many plays, get people open just by calling the right plays, scheming, those type of things. I'm happy and excited to see what they can do, and I think they could be on the level, if not higher than what they did at Clemson with T. Higgins when he was there. I really wish he could have came to UT. However, the kid from Oregon gives us his size and speed. We got a quarterback that can get it to him.
I like what I see out of Nico a lot. Portions of the program brought to you by Vols Automotive Group, right there on Callahan, the epicenter of car buying. They have the great selection, they have the great prices, they want, they need, and they appreciate your business, and also a service department that will do exactly what needs to be done to your car, not add on other things. Viles Automotive Group on Callahan. I remember going to practice. I guess this was my first time in '96, and I just saw this ball fly through the air, and naturally I thought, well, that must have been Peyton Manning because it was one of the most beautiful deep balls I've ever seen in person in my life. To that point, definitely in my life. It turned out to be T. Martin. What kind of fit would he be in this Josh Heupel offense?
I don't think T ever got a chance to like open it up all the way. I
Right.
don't think they opened up the offense for him the entire time he was at UT. The only time I think we opened it up was the 1998 national championship game, and we went deep on Florida State. That was the most open I felt like he had an opportunity to be. And he had that game against South Carolina where he hit, was it 23 or 24 or something like that. But like having an opportunity in an offense like this, the way he threw the deep ball, he would light it up in this offense, in my opinion.
Be huge. Be
Yes,
huge.
absolutely.
Yeah, deep ball, just be fantastic. And it does lead me to this. So I think in some ways Joe Milton has similar type of talent than T, and I think there are a lot of similarities there. But I want to ask you as a teammate, because people have told me, because I really believe, based off what I hear and using my own eye, that at some point in the season, Nico will take over the starting job. I may be wrong. I've been wrong a lot, but I just believe it. I think the ball pops out of his hand. I think there's something special there. And that's not a knock on Joe at all. I think they would be just fine if Nico wasn't around.
Hmm.
But that's where I stand on that. And a lot of people have ripped me. And one of the things that they have said is, and I've had players tell me that they love Joe and he's one of their favorites. That
Hmm.
being said, as a competitor, Fred, if a guy comes in and wins a job, freshman or not, and you have one of your team favorites that loses the job, is there any pushback from the team if the younger guy just is better, or as a player, do you just say, "Man, he's just better"? That's the way things go.
It depends. I think we had a situation like that a few years back. I think when Coach Foreman was still the head coach, and we had what is his name from California, his brother. He
Rick Claus.
transferred in from Rick Clausen, and then there was Eric Ainge.
Hmm.
Eric Ainge had all the intangibles for sure, stronger arm, taller quarterback, those type of things. But the guy who had to beat on the team was Clausen. He brought you back from a couple of games and won, and that was everyone on the team kind of wanted that guy to be the leader because he was the leader. I think you go with a leader regardless. Um, I watched when Clemson had a situation when Trevor Lawrence became the quarterback. I can't remember the guy's name that was the quarterback, but that game, there was a game they were playing against Georgia Tech, and he had 4 interceptions in the first half, and they were down to Georgia Tech. In comes Trevor Lawrence in the second half. Well, late second quarter, scored a touchdown right before half, and then came back in the third quarter and threw 2 more touchdowns and threw a fourth touchdown in the fourth quarter to win the game. It was over with for the other kid at that point.
Kelly
Trevor Lawrence became
Kelly Bryant was his name. Is that
it
right?
was Trevor Lawrence became the quarterback after that. A lot of times, everybody on the team loved Kelly Bryant. He was the leader. It just so happened in that game, Trevor showed that he was a better quarterback and became the starter from that point forward. If that's how you win the if that's how you win the spot, if you win it outright in camp, whoever's the best player on the field, I want to be on the field, regardless. But then, as a veteran guy on the team, we always looked at guys and said, okay, you might be talented, but when the going gets tough, I want this guy. Prime example, we had John Henderson and Albert Haynes would come in as freshmen, and when the game was on the line, I wanted Billy Ratliff and Darwin Walker. Nothing against Albert Hainsworth and John Henderson. They were just young, and sometimes they may not have understood the situation. Right? Having my veteran guys in made a difference because I knew y'all been battle tested. I know what you can do. So don't be sitting on the sideline. I need you on the football field. Don't make me call a timeout to come over to the sideline and get you because we will. So yeah, I remember looking up in the. I remember being in the Nebraska game in the Fiesta Bowl my senior year, and I look up and I know these guys. I love my guys. Now, don't get me wrong, but Rashad Moore, Ed Butler were playing D tackle. 2 young guys. It's 3rd and 6. I called a timeout. I remember Coach Chavis screaming on the telephone, like, "What are you doing? Hey, I'm not going out here on 3rd and 6, and I got these 2 guys as my defensive tackles. Sean Ellis, Billy Ratliff, y'all better get. I don't care how hurt you are. You better get in the game. I need you in the game. Because if not, I walk back out there and I'm on the football field and those 2 freshmen are still out there. Guess what's going to happen? I'm calling timeout again. So I need to figure this out. You need to figure it out real fast.
How many times? How many times did you call a timeout in your career?
About 5 or 6. Yeah. Yeah. I called a timeout against. Go back and watch the game. We playing against Syracuse, and I look up, and this is a true story. True story. Some of these guys first time really playing. Right. My first year as a starter, but I just remember looking, and all the guys are passing out or falling out or getting IVs, and I'm on the sideline. I'm on the field, and it's like 3rd and 8, and Pooh Bear's at D tackle. I can't remember his real name. Ed Kendrick
Yeah.
is at tackle. I got Dominique Stevenson in at linebacker, Sean Johnson at linebacker. There's a few other guys I can't remember their names. Put it like this: Don Walker, Billy Ratliff, and Sean Ellis were all on the foot. They were all on the sideline. So we called a timeout. I called a timeout to make that happen. I called a timeout to make that happen simply because I'm not going on the football field with these guys right now in this moment. I need some dogs on the field. Not saying those guys weren't dogs. Some of those guys turned out to be big dogs. However, I needed the big dogs that were the dogs at that moment on my field.
Great.
We got to stop. They kicked the field goal. They scored a touchdown on that drive. We probably lose the game.